Ian, welcome. Houston Comedy Film Festival. Everyone, I am super excited to be talking with Ian Quarter. And we are here because he is a finalist of the teleplay comedy series for Sanctuary. Can you
Thank
tell
you.
everybody about Sanctuary? Because I low-key feel like it's very relevant right now for what people are thinking in their minds.
Well, Sanctuary is basically a story about things that happen. And it's not just the military. It could be an office. It could be anything. These are characters and people that you have probably encountered in your own life. I mean, you got the moocher that tries to get all the free food they can, or just playing pranks. Uh, Now, granted, this is comedy, so there are things that are taken to the extreme. It doesn't go to that length, but you get the idea. It's exaggeration for comedic effect. And so, but it's in the military setting because for those of us who have been overseas and served combat tours and other places in the world, it weighs on you. And so you have to have an outlet. And that's one thing that it brings everybody together. I mean, it doesn't matter, anything. It helps you become or stay sane, pure and simple.
When it comes down to just the storyline with Officer Gus and wanting to take a break, but then he's with all of these crazy people. Do you personally relate to any of these characters? I'm just curious. Like, can you talk about your background and what inspired you to write
Sure.
this script?
Well, I mean, everything in there is true to a point, and the characters are composites. I'm not painting a picture of any one person, but you're taking these various attributes from one and moving them around. And so there are elements, yes, there are elements of me in some of the characters and people I've known. And so if you've ever worked in an office environment or anything like that, you will be able to relate to some of these characters. And they're going to be new ones because I've already fleshed out and polished 3 additional episodes with 11 more in the works. So
Okay.
I'm well on my way for an entire season. And so you're going to have introductions of new characters, and the key is it's suspension of belief, but you want it to be believable. Does that make sense?
Yes. Like even with the inside jokes with the fake military list. The
But
supply.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, and those are tricks you play on newbies. You send somebody down for a box of like blinker fluid or something, and if they're naive enough, yeah, everybody is in on it, even the people in supply and others. And it's just something we do, and everybody gets in on it. I mean, it can be really hilarious. Well, for those of us who are doing it.
How do you balance the satire with real life experience? Like, how do you balance that for whenever it's being interpreted from an audience?
Well, here's the thing. I purposely wrote it as not to be too serious because I don't want to put in there anything serious political or it's for me. I had the idea that, okay, here's, for example, a waitress who just pulled a double shift. She goes home and she wants to forget about the day and just laugh. Or, a plumber who's been working on a housing development for 6 months straight and he wants to relax. That's just it. It's just a chance to laugh
It
because that's things that
humanizes
we
everything.
experience overseas.
I think it
Hmm.
humanizes like your characters, and that way people can relate to somebody in there.
I agree. I remember in my youth seeing Mel Blanc, the Warner Brothers cartoons. They asked, "Who did you write these for?" And he said, "For ourselves." And that's kind of how I looked at it too. It just happens that my buddies in the military and others, they seem to like it too. So it came natural.
And so when I think about where it fits into the marketplace, it's almost like The Office, but military style.
There are elements of that in there, and you could also throw in a little bit of MASH, a little bit of Seinfeld, because you have each episode has a specific topic. It's a topical episode, and that's how I approach this series. And you focus on one thing, and that's the entire topic, and it's only a half hour. So that's the most difficult type of writing I've ever done. Feature length, I've done pretty long ones. To do it in a half hour, you've got a lot of time or a lot of stuff to crunch into a small time.
How
And
long
that
did it take
really
you to
is
write
difficult.
this?
Well, oddly enough, it seemed to write itself. Of all the other ones I've had to do rewrites for, this one I hammered these out in fairly short order. I can't explain it. I don't know what was going on up here, but it just came out. I'm sitting there just cranking away on the keyboard. I
May I
like to keep it up though.
No, that's beautiful. May I ask how long it took you to write this particular this script?
For this one, it probably just a few days. Now I've been polishing it, I've been polishing it, but I have an actual idea book that I keep with me wherever I'm at, so I write things down. But a lot of things it just came from a sudden memory jog. Something would trigger a memory like, ooh, that's got to go in there. Things like that. It's like I said, I really can't explain it. It's
Yeah.
strange, and I hope I can keep it going.
How long have you been writing for? Because it seems so seamless.
Well, it depends on the type of writing you're talking about. I've been an academic writer because both undergraduate and graduate school, but also have done technical writing. So I've done writing most of my life, but this has always been kind of a passion in the background. And even in undergrad school, I hung up around some theater majors, so I got to read scripts and things, but it wasn't really something that I did, full time. 2011 was the first one, a feature length that I completed,
Mhm.
and I just went from there. And it was like getting bitten by a bug, and you can't get rid of it. You've got to feed the itch.
What was like the hardest part? Because the reason why I'm asking this question is because when I'm thinking about different writers and coaching moments for people that are listening.
Well, that's the difference between a feature length and a half-hour episode, for example. This one, I had the opposite problem because I was coming up 15, 20 minutes. And I'm scratching my head thinking, okay, how can I make this? And I'm not trying to go for a time length, but you want to have a certain time in there. And so I had to flesh it out even more, but not do it in such a way that it comes across as I'm just throwing things in for filler. I want to avoid that. So
Yeah.
as you can see, I had the opposite problem of what you would have for a feature length, where you're paring down 130-page script down to like 92 or something. It's kind of a strange one. I've never experienced that before either. So this has been a groundbreaking in so many different ways.
I love it because it's like we're every day, even though you've been doing this for years, we're always learning. And so that still is challenging you in a new way. And do
Oh, yeah.
you have any advice for any screenwriters that are looking at you for inspiration?
A number of things. The first thing is learn the form, because I never formally went to a school or a class for this. I had to read all kinds of books and look at all kinds of different scripts to find out okay, it's a specific type of template, a format that they use for this. And so once you learn that, that's the mechanics of it. I guess you could say it's a science.
Yeah.
Then you study those same writers, those greats, and you figure out, okay, what goes into it? Character development, scenes, all these different things. You're painting a picture, but you have to do it with brevity. That's the hard part. You're not writing it's like a 300-page novel or something. You're writing something very concise, and that's a difficulty. But as far as advice goes, just keep at it. I mean, you're going to have times of self-doubt, but push through. Just keep going. You have stories to tell them, but once you find the process, that's how you can get it across. That's really the way to do it.
Second, I love the fact that you studied the greats because I know even from myself, whenever I look at people that inspire me, it's like, being able, even though I didn't go to school for this, what I'm doing right now. And
There you
so
go. See, you're a case in point too.
yeah, I studied biochemistry. I'm Nigerian. Pressure. You got to be, what is it, engineer,
Doctor,
doctor, lawyer.
lawyer. Yep,
You already know.
exactly.
And so,
Yep.
with the entertainment, like I was inspired by people like Oprah, etc. And so when you say study the greats, that's definitely something that I relate to. And then also just applying it. And whenever you wrote this, did you have any feedback from your wife or any other peers whenever they read this, or it's like, you know what, by myself, I got this. Did you get any other feedback?
Yes, I did. There are several people in the military as well as my wife as well. Now, you also have to realize that my wife was in law enforcement too, so she has that background. And so, even in other scripts, one of the difficulties for me, one of the biggest difficulties was writing female characters, because obviously there are certain things I just can't grasp or understand because I haven't lived it.
Yeah.
So I would rely upon her and other people that could give me that. Well, it's a sanity check, is what it is. Is this a believable character? Would a woman really react this way? Because with their help, I'm able to get past that point.
Beautiful, beautiful. If you were to have a dream cast or even a personality type, because I know you're gonna meet so many people. And so my question is, who would you want to play Gus and like the other characters? Have you thought about that?
Yeah, and here's the thing I've settled on, or I guess you could say I would hope for. I would like to get new blood. I don't want to go with the stars. If anything, because I'm coming up through the ranks, so to speak, I'm learning. So there are millions of people out there who do community theater, who do, things for the universities, who are just, they're hungry for that start. And those are the people who really, really, I mean, they're not jaded, they're not any of these things.
Yeah.
They have this hunger to be and to do these things in the theater arts. Those are the people that I would specifically look for.
I love that. And I will also say what I've noticed with a lot of just within the industry, like you're going to get more push and even more promotion from the people that are hungry, not just people like, oh, I'm just here for
Yeah.
a paycheck and call it a day. And so I think
Hmm.
that's a very smart strategy. And I know that's a very smart business strategy. I kind of wish more people had that frame of mind because you're going to see the best performances come from those people.
Well, and that's the other thing too. When you're talking about from a business perspective, uh, even keeping the cost down in terms of in this show, you don't have to necessarily do things on a military base, for example. You don't
Yeah.
have to have CGI. You don't have to have these highly expensive prosthetics to, no, it's all the biggest expense would probably be uniforms. And you could probably even use office space for the production company itself.
Yeah.
A cubicle farm, for example, a parking lot. I mean, it lends itself to cost effectiveness. That's kind of a side benefit, I guess, of writing it in this way. In fact, there's another comedy I'm working on. It's a feature length, same thing. You're not going to have to worry about all that. It keeps the cost down. And from a producer standpoint, that's a big thing.
You're a genius. I see you're a
Now, I don't know
genius.
about that.
No, I'm just
I'm a
saying
late,
because
maybe a late bloomer too. I guess, I don't
whatever
know,
you want to call it,
but thank you.
you can call it a late bloomer all day, but you're very strategic and you're very smart. So like even when
Well,
you
that's the
wrote this.
military part.
Yeah, because when it comes down to just writing it, like you thought about marketing and business in mind, and that's where many people fail. Honestly, that is where many people fail. They don't really think about all of that part in the beginning, especially when you're writing the scripts, because even from a marketing standpoint and speaking to investors, it's like, how many explosions? And do you have a helicopter that's involved? Because in the back of investors' minds, they're thinking about, okay, this is going to cost me like how much? Because I've had projects come to me like that.
Right. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the key too, I think. If you're keeping your costs down, but you're still producing quality and I don't want to give up the integrity of the idea, the integrity
Yes.
of the flow of the script itself, the essence of it. I don't want to lose that. So I'm trying to strike a balance and I'm trying to maintain all the things, all the qualities I strove for, but at the same time being realistic and what is it going to cost someone?
Have you started talking to any production companies for this yet?
No, it's still too new right now, and plus I have so many irons in the fire. Uh, I'm I really am to the point in my life now where I can dedicate my time more to film festival circuits, just because it's not just for this, but I have like 7 features and I forget how many other shorts and some other. So this is something that I mean, again, it's that bug. I've been bitten, and now how do I scratch that itch? Well, I think this is it. Talking to people, networking. Plus, I've also gotten with other people, contacts who are also screenwriters or script writers, and learning from them. And so it very much a collaborative effort, but nothing in the terms of producers.
Beautiful. I think that you're going to do extremely well because you're not shy at all. You're not shy at all. And from an investment standpoint, you have a plan.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Go in with these things with a plan. That's another bit of advice I would provide to other people. Not that I've taken it that far yet because I'm still in my beginning stages as well, but have that plan and map it out.
I love it. And what do you want when it comes down to this series? I want to ask you this question twice. The first question I want to ask you is when it comes down to the audience, what do you want the military folks? What do you want them to take away from this series?
Ah, that's the $1 million question. I don't know. Well, yeah, million dollar. Well, I'll put it this way. I told you my wife's law enforcement background and my military background. We have trouble sitting and watching movies together that are either one of those because we pick it apart. We can't sit there and just enjoy it for its own sake. You'll have a procedural police drama and she'll, they don't do that in real life. And I'll be, we'll watch a military movie. Oh, wait a minute. The uniform's all jacked up. They don't carry their weapons that way.
Man.
So it kind of ruins it in a way because you look at it and you go, oh man, can't I just enjoy it just for its own sake? Apparently not.
No, because you already know, like, no, this is not, no, it wouldn't have really gone down like this.
Because they'll have uniforms and they'll have this all buttoned up. They don't do that. Well, I would say you can have a very well written script that is accurate, but if the director and producer don't stay on top of that, then things can change and then it becomes, it's not suspension of belief. It's just unbelievable because it's not that way. So that's a difference there.
Man. And even for people like myself, and let me also rewind because I didn't want to interrupt you, but I also want to say thank you for your service. I really thank you for your service. And for people like
Thanks.
myself, yeah, like for real. Like we need yes, America is an interesting place right now, so it's like thank you. And I want to say for people like myself that have not served, what do you want us to gather from this whenever it comes into life? Because I know it will.
Well, the biggest thing is, well, we're human. I mean, when you get right down to it, the military is a microcosm of society at large. So whenever you have these characters in a series like this, think of people of Walmart.com, where you see all these really strange people. Okay, they joined the military too. I'll just throw that out there right now. So, I mean, you get these characters. It doesn't matter if it's business or military, government, it doesn't matter. Are in all sectors. So it's something that I hope that everybody can relate to at some level.
You're humanizing everyone, and we're not so different than what we see. So you're bringing everyone together through this, and you're giving us some laughs along the way. With you starting into this particular space, and when I think about vision and when I think about legacy in the next generation, what do you want your legacy to be?
I made people laugh because one of the things that we had downrange, we call it overseas. Sometimes if you can help a coworker or a fellow soldier get through a rough time and you make them laugh, I mean, sometimes just for a moment you forget about all the other stuff. And it doesn't have to be because you're deployed. It could be because you're having a rough time at work or something like that. So if somebody, I mentioned before, here's a server at a restaurant, she does a double shift and she comes home, she's tired, but she just wants to have a laugh. If I made her chuckle, for me, that'd be that's something that people will remember, not, how many things he did overseas or what he did this and that. That to me, that's worth its weight in gold.
Agree with you. People remember how you make them feel.
Yeah, exactly. And we tend to forget that.
Thank you for bringing more light into the world because that's exactly what we need right now.
Well, thank you for your time.
Absolutely. And how can people stay in contact with you if they want to bring this to life with a nice camera and lens and crew?
Well, there are a number of different ways. Of course, on my scripts, I'll have an email address, of course, and but Script Revolution, which is a British website for posting scripts. That's probably the easiest way because you'll have my full page and all the different scripts I have. And plus, there are tons and tons of aspiring writers on there too. And if you're a writer out there right now, that's a good venue to put your scripts on. And plus, it allows you to put your script Bible, your treatments, and other things in there. So it's a really good venue, and I recommend that. So sorry, a shameless plug for
No, I
the
love
people who are
it.
gonna.
I'll link everything in the description below. But Ian, you're amazing. And am I gonna see your wife as well?
Well,
You and
thank
your
you.
wife both are coming? Are you gonna both
No,
come?
no, she won't be. We have kids and they're in school and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it
Man,
would have been nice to have her there too.
I mean, I don't have kids yet, so I don't have that in my head right now. But my goodness, Ian, this was an absolute pleasure, and I love the fact that you're so chill and you're easy to talk to. That's very beautiful.
Well, thank you. Well, you made it all possible. So, I mean, I guess the kudos go to you instead. So,
I'm
thank you.
telling you, an absolute pleasure, and I really enjoyed this interview with you.
Same here, and thank you for your time. This is great.
Thank you so
Sounds
much.
good. Thank you. You too. Bye
I'll
bye.